Goes it, if it. Trying to find some music to play. Today we are not gonna watch that because I don't feel like. Okay.
With remote monitoring and management,
Cannot escape. Cannot escape the ads. Today is no cam day. Oh, also I need to update the title, I guess. Just making a simple level. I'm trying to do some variation ideas. It's one of those days, chat, where you just need to lean into the Lord, lean into the Holy Father, kind of ask him to help you with what you need done, because I'll tell you this, I feel like I'm running on fumes today, man. Oh. I'm charging my headset, so I'm just clicking a bunch of stuff. So I've never done an environment like this before, and I just feel like I'm gonna be completely overwhelmed, but whatever. I'll put some other cool stuff in the background eventually, but I'm thinking like just a way so I can keep this, export it, and possibly make a couple variations. There's a couple things that I don't like about these maps, just running like kind of through it. I don't like, I think for like in an enclosed space, this is perfect. Like if I'm in a cavern, like essentially if I'm in a cavern, something, we got to work on the combat a little bit more and adding some physics to get them to fall down. But essentially, you know, a space like this for a cavern is awesome. So we'll probably need to up the size for like middle tiles. Something I need to note. One, we're gonna have to fix. We're definitely gonna have to fix the double jump. I'm going to test something really quick just to see if this works. Where am I today, man? Don't feel like I'm really much anywhere. I want to see if it has to do with this or if I'm not setting up the collisions correctly on it. But essentially I'm going to block this out so I can start having a better idea of how I'm going to handle everything. But I want to add these here really quick to kind of just, I guess, test some stuff with the collision on these. Collision output log is way too high. Generate overlaps, defaults, custom. What is default? It's blocking everything. That's the default. But yeah, I think something for that middle room, like that size variation, works perfectly for like a cavern. This works perfectly for a cavern. Yeah, there's just something wrong. Let's see what it is. Does it work now? Yeah, it does. Okay. I was like having an issue where I couldn't wall jump for some strange reason. And now I'm not able to wall jump down here. Is it because of the normal? Yeah, we're gonna have to fix. Because we might have to, yeah. Hold up. Yeah, for some strange reason, this works great right here. I'm like kind of confused. I'm like, why is that? Why is it love that but hate? And what is it about this? It works great here, but any other circumstance, it's like, nope. And that should like reset afterwards, but it's not resetting at all. It's not resetting at all. I'm gonna check I'm gonna have to update this at some point and see what's going on. So is able to climb. So now it's like essentially running over and over again. Whatever, I'm not gonna focus on that. I need to focus on making this work. But that is something we're gonna have to rework wall jumps. By the way, guys, thank you all for being here. Much love to each and every single one of you. I'm gonna kind of like photo bash this a little bit, if that makes sense. Probably makes a whole lot of sense. Oh. That confused the holy heck out of me. A boy. Yeah, no cam today. No cam today. Don't feel like much, man. Feel like not even being present. But yeah, I want to kind of like encapsulate stuff like this. I think we could photo bash something in the background like this, and then have something in the immediate background like this. If we get the right lighting to give like a 3D effect, maybe we have like 3 different that might be a little bit harder to set up for things. We would have to have essentially so much stuff, like, because you got to imagine an interior cube map is dependent on an interior, right? I mean, they have several. We would have to have multiple for a level. We would not only have to have like a level, but we'd have to have a cube map that goes with that level, because we'd have to have it sitting somewhere in the world so we can translate or essentially get a hold of that information. I guess we could just do a texture map and we should be fine. But if I can find a way to get that 3D effect, that's what's going to work best, because I don't know about you, this all works great because, I mean, I guess you could say this right here is possibly like just, this could just be like faked 3D, could be just rendered. Baked lighting. So at the end of the day, if it's baked lighting, it just wouldn't matter. I'm gonna have to test some cases out. I might do that. Might like create a vine, bake some stuff onto it, but we would have to have like one variation of vine where it's just, you know, a tube, and then we would have to do some other stuff. But then it's like, how do I portray that on here? Oh. Oh, man. It's fine. It's a lot easier to do all this. Can I even copy and paste from Miro into here? I can't. I don't want to photo bash this stuff in as possible. Come on, you. Kind of get like a general idea. But yeah, I guess honestly we should rework this map a little bit to kind of get the size variations that I want before I start going in and doing things of this nature. It's just a size like this isn't going to cut it. It's not going to give that open volume that we're looking for. It's too enclosed, it's too tight. It just, you know, like, and you can really feel it when you're running around in here. I guess in a sense it might not matter, and it's probably because of all this stuff as well. But you can really feel how tight it is. I mean, I tried to open up the back a little bit. You'll notice like this goes back a little bit forward, or goes back more, and then if we come down here it kind of gets closer. Hey, So much work ahead of us. So much work ahead of us. It's hard not to think of all that stuff you're gonna have to do. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. But I'm gonna have to do it. I want to rework these as well. I'm not a big fan of them. I mean, they might look pretty decent with some more added to them, but I don't think it'll be too inspiring. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to make this larger. I want to test this down here really quick and see if we're running into the same like wall clinging issues. Yeah, see that? It works fine on this. Why does it work fine on these, but then on this? We're probably going to have some form of like collision created for this, because I find that's an issue when you use complex for I think it has to do with the complex is simple method, right? Works fine for that. Yoan! Anyone alive? Yeah, I'm alive. A little slow today here on the stream. But that's fine. Yeah, see, it works great, but it's not working at all for these. I really think it's because of the how we have the collisions set up. These feel more like a volume. That shouldn't be an issue, though. How you doing, Yuan? There. I'm well, thanks. And you? Love the game idea. Sounds very promising and challenging. Yes, it does, doesn't it? That's kind of the beauty and that's the beauty and struggle of it, though. But what's worth trying if there's nothing like difficult involved in it, right? There's nothing involved that's difficult. There's no real point in even going about trying to do this. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to handle the level design aspect of this. And sort of struggling. Because I haven't done much. I've done props, but when it comes to level design, I don't have much experience doing it. It's interesting that we get this result. Oh, what is going on here? It's because we have these. So, are you working on any projects, Yoan? I don't think I have. I do. Right. Over here. Copy that. True. Do you do this as a full-time job at the moment? Yeah, I'm kind of a stay-home father, so this is what I kind of do on my free time, work on this. I have an associate's degree in game design. I've learned from some pretty brilliant people that have worked in the industry for years at like Disney Interactive and Edic, etc., etc., etc. But, you know, there's still just there's a difference in experience, right? Remember this game. There's definitely something off about this right here. Yo, what up, Buenos? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Why am I keep getting this little issue right here? I drag these up, essentially. We work fine. Oh, we don't even work fine over here. Blender looks confusing. Yeah, if you don't have enough experience in any software, it's going to look a little bit confusing when you first stare at it, you know? Yeah, but program mostly just for work. In my free time, I do physics simulations and... Oh! That's sick. And you have a small channel? Is it the Yo on D channel, or is it another channel that you go by? You always got to appreciate the old school imitation of hip hop in Sonic Adventures 1. How you doing, Raleigh? I'm doing good, man. Doing good. A little overwhelmed today, but just getting out of my comfort zone with this particular project. Right now, I'm trying to open up the middle space more and try to create some... Essentially, I'm just trying to plan and figure out what works and what doesn't work as fast as possible. Create some level design aspects and like mechanics that revolve around those. I mean, we have basic stuff like a wall cling, right? We have like the climbing mechanic, but I think I want to add some other like traversal mechanics, like, you know, rope swinging, stuff like that. But I want to get a sample map worked out before I jump into anything too serious, right? It's like we don't really even need this here. Yo, what's up, John Ray? What's up, Maine? Blender, mainly item creation. Other programs let you do strange things with your items, yeah. Quantum Bounce is the channel. I do like physics, so I'm gonna check you out. Am I like a serious like prospect of physics? No, but I do enjoy science even as a Christian. And just interesting stuff. Cool. I subscribe. 15. Wow, nice. A lot of shorts though. Oh hey, I think I've seen some of these shorts before too. What do you do these physics simulations in JavaScript? Man, bouncing is actually pretty... It's easier now that I know like what goes into like bouncing, but when I first started programming, I wanted to make like a paddle, like a Pong game. And what is the storyline behind the game? Well, you just play as a little lion who just loves to read his Bible and do good things, goes out in the world and just trying to build a base, so you go out into these realms and you collect material from the world and fight bad guys while you do it. It's very concerning for me right now, though, when I walk into these and kind of see these issues here. But that's primarily due to the fact that most of the time we're chopped off at this point. Because we would have something here. Something similar to like this, I guess you could say. But yeah, in regard to your question, to kind of overemphasize, it's just a game about a lion named Judah who loves to read his Bible, try to do good works, and you're building a base. You explore worlds, you collect the resources from them, you beat up bad guys, and you build your base. If you could define a clear storyline, it might be easier to create the level design. Well, I don't want to get too deep into the story as a mobile game, right? Because this is a mobile game. And like the console variation, the story will be different, but I'm by no means a screen. I do not do screenplays. Kind of hoping my buddy will take up an offer to work with me at some point on this, because he's fantastic at those, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's still a little concerning, having these little niches here. Just means that there's some measurements that are off. There's some measurements that are off. Man, it's just one of those days, guys, where you don't want to wake up. You just want to stay in bed. Everything seems greater than they really are. Each room being its own minigame, maybe, but I don't want to. I mean, that would be fun for like a small game. But I think nowadays when you're creating something, you need to have, because of like how saturated the market is, you need something that kind of stands apart, and I feel like the concept for this game fulfills that, I guess. I don't know, we'll find out. We'll figure that out at a later date. Yeah, seeing now this one's one margin off. What the heck, dude? And then look up here. Boop. What am I doing? What is going on? Why is this acting so weird? Why is this acting so weird? And then down here too. Boom, boom, boom. This goes up. Even though I didn't even change this. What's going on? That's why. Oh man, let's go back to the original before I made any changes. I see. How many kids do you have, and how do you manage being a dad and creating this game? I am the father of one beautiful little girl, and I do take care of my little brother. And I'll be real with you, man, I don't know how I managed to do the things I do for this game while being a father and essentially making food, picking people up, making sure they're okay, stuff like that. It's been very difficult for me, but somehow I've, through the grace of God, been able to manage to do it. Yeah, there is. These are off. I guess the whole conception of these are kind of just wonky. I'm gonna have to redo it. I'm gonna have to redo it. I don't want to. I'm gonna have to redo it all. I mean, yeah, even if you look at these, some of these cuts are just not, they're not it. Let's dissolve the edges. Dissolve the vertices? Crazy. It's because I have to do this and then dissolve the vertex. Dissolve edges? Jesus. Make a Patreon? I do have a Patreon. Patreon. We do have a Patreon. It's in the link of this description. I'm still working on it. Thankfully, we have, you know, 2 awesome people who have decided I'm worth it. So I appreciate it. But yeah, we do have some tiers that you could subscribe to. Obviously, more needs to be involved with these, like roadmaps and stuff like that. But as a single developer, it's really hard to like write these things down unless that's all you can do. If you don't have like any other thing that you need to do, right? And I don't mean that as an insult to the people who do have that. Like, oh, that's all you have to do. But the fact remains that like I am taking care of a kid and trying to be a good husband at the same time. Sorry, was blind. No, you're fine, man. You know, that's no issue at all. I wouldn't even consider it blind. I appreciate you even asking. You know, if anybody can help, it's always a lovely thing, right? I just constantly pray that I can live up to people's standards, because I'll be real with you, sometimes it feels like I'm struggling and constantly just working and stressing out and just trying to be the best me that I could be. These seem to align correctly. Yeah. I think that looks a lot cleaner now. I'm gonna save that. So as we know, which is normal, games that go where few games dare to tread, more sci-fi angles, brutalism, teams, singles, worlds, each location, its own monsters, yeah. And it's like the monsters I have, or the reptiles that I have that you fight against right now in this like particular type of environment. You know, I'm basically making creatures that are only in that valley area that you'll find in that environment. I haven't even started working on like the cavern creatures or the creatures you'll find in the upper regions of the map. Oh. Nah, you can ask. She loves it. She loves that I'm passionate and that I want to do more than just be a stay-at-home dad. She's very supportive of what I do. Of course, sometimes it can get frustrating, right? Because there'll be times where, you know, I'm working on my game instead of doing other things, which is why, honestly, sometimes that's what makes it hard, is because as like a stay-at-home dad or just a family man in general, you know, you want to be able to do stuff for your family, right? And there's some times where it's like, I really want to do this, but at the same time, like, I need to get this done today because I have to make this devlog. And yeah, it's a whole lot of work, but she's very supportive. Sorry for making non-complicated answer complicated. I'm just thinking about a lot right now. I mean, at least these are moving accordingly to what they were originally. Let's delete these faces. I kind of want to start off with what, a 5x6? Maybe I should do a 6x6 and see how that feels in a room. Yeah, I could put this on GitHub easily. The last project was on GitHub, but I've ran into so many issues with Unreal Engine that I had to migrate over to from 5.3 to 5.4. I was getting some like random JetBrain issue where I couldn't open my game in debug mode, and anytime I tried to run it from Writer, it wouldn't let me. Yeah, that's what I use. I use GitHub. Right. I do use GitHub. I will be uploading this project soon once I get some stuff into it. The new variation of it. I feel like this is a lot better. And then essentially, sorry, I should duplicate these before I decide to do that. Essentially, we could have a max height of 6x6 on these to kind of give this large impression, and we can have stuff in here. But with the way the rooms are conceived or constructed, I really want it to feel like you're moving. Like these will be created like separately like this, but when they're attached and we have entrances, I want them to really just feel like combined they make a world almost. That makes sense. Da-na-na-na-na. By the way, guys, if you want to hang out or talk, most of the days I'll be hanging out in general. As a lot of you know, I come in here and hang out a lot. So if you ever want to talk person to person, make sure to join the Discord link in the description of this live stream. How do you manage financially? My fiance is she's the breadwinner. She has a pretty decent job. She makes enough to support us. I was going to school prior to all this, but I kind of... People might look down on this, but I made a leap of faith, literally. I was pursuing a bachelor's in computer science after I got my associate in game design. Once I looked online and found I couldn't like transfer it to any college in the area, as well as like out of state. Obviously, I wanted to stay in the state because I don't want to uproot my family or move anywhere. But I was doing a bachelor's in computer science and was doing fairly well in it, but I just didn't feel at peace. It felt like I was going against what I was supposed to do, and I don't know. The biggest sign for me was I was like in my room one day, kind of just like discombobulated and felt really at war with myself, and I just asked God, what do you want me to do? And randomly out of nowhere, I have a drawing like pad on a bookshelf. It fell over and hung on the bookshelf, and there was a drawing of the game studio I wanted to have. So that to me was like a big sign. So I stepped away from that and started doing this. Of course, I asked my fiance if that was cool, and she was fine with it. So, but yeah, we do manage well financially. Not like super well, but enough to get by, pay rent, pay for food, and for a couple of other things here and there. But she obviously works extremely hard, which is why I try to work on this every day so I can, you know, try to match that. I just feel it's important to create a studio like this because as a Christian, there just isn't really many spaces for us in the entertainment industry. And I felt it was sad to see that there was a Christian Game Developers Conference because if you didn't know... Right, here, I'll look this up. Christian Game Developers Conference. Boom. It's actually in July. Maybe I should go meet some people if I have the money. But yeah, let me look this up. Where's the what's new or about? Buy your tickets, and everything about the latest technologies. Must read. Oh, they got free courses. Christian Game Developers Boot Camp. That's pretty sick. Let's announcements, questions. Essentially, they have something in here that talks about how a lot of people or Christians in the game industry feel very alone. And it's because, like, if you know anyone who's in the entertainment industry, movie-wise or game development-wise, they just don't take kind to our kind. When did I become a Christian? So I don't want to say I was raised in a brutal Christian family where it was expected of me to go to church every Sunday, right? So I was Christian, but I didn't know that I wasn't Christian. And when I got older in my teenage years, I kind of fell off, started making music, doing drugs, hanging out with the wrong people, and was really at war with myself and God. I thought I was a God. I always wanted to argue against the Bible. And then one day, I don't know what it was, man. Something hit me and I was just like, there's no way that I could battle life on my own. And I went and prayed and started going to church, got baptized, and I just felt a great peace come upon me. And this was about 7 or 8 years ago, right? Like 2 years before I had my daughter. And so yeah, I'd say I was a Christian. I was born into Christianity, kind of, but I wasn't a Christian. Like, I didn't care about sinning. I was the type to, if I were to sin, I would just go to church on Sunday and, it's all fine. But now it's a lot more different for me. I want to not sin. I want to do all these things. I want to try to live by the standards that, God has set for me in his commandments and through Christ's word. So it's a completely different sense of the religion. It's like a reawakening to the entirety of it. Honestly, I feel like at the bottom, if I could create rooms, maybe we do a 7x7 because that gives us, because right now I have a 6x6. Which means if I were to open this up, I have realistically, 4x4 space to maneuver around in. Yeah. It really is, I found in those times in my life that when I'm working against God, I'm working against myself, because God has the best intention for me. And if I'm not doing what he says, it's not that he's punishing me, I'm punishing myself by not doing what he requests, because these are all the things that are outside of God, right? But yeah, I was a drug addict, I was a drunk. It was all bad, man. It was nothing good at all, which is why I've decided to kind of do all this. So yeah, we have a 6x6 right now, but I think I want to separate by selection. Selection. We're gonna move all these around. I feel like there needs to be more space, and it has to be odd. So essentially this middle area, ooh, we're about to make a huge, cheers for your testimony. May it be a blessing to many others. I hope so too. I hope so too. I won't lie though. Personally, I feel like, yeah, I mean, the testimony is great. I'm still learning, right? I just literally finished reading the Bible for the first time. What, like at the beginning of this month? Yeah, at the beginning of this month. No, actually last month at the end. Now I'm doing a plan. Right now I'm reading about the Holy Spirit. And just trying to dig deeper into the Word. As I say, I'm just at that point right now where I'm feeling very conflicted. I'm being attacked a lot. And I know I'm being attacked because there's just no other way to describe it. Like, if you live that type of lifestyle where you're just kind of a renegade and you go from that to like complete peace, I don't know. It's just something in that experience that lets you know, like, yeah, I'm being attacked right now. There's no other way that isn't the case. Typically, I'd feel at peace and I'd be just big chillin', you know? I'd be big chillin'. But as of recent, it's just been different. Yes, I love how well these actually, stick together now. It definitely was it. I had constructed these entirely wrong. So, Joanne, how long have you been a Christian, my friend? And if anyone else feels like sharing their testimony in here, feel more than free to do so, right? As they say in the Bible and in church, iron sharpens iron. We're stronger when we're together than when we are apart. Man, many bad people in my school. I think it's always good to remember that, at least what I try to remember is that, I know this is going to sound really strange. A lot of people are misled into that type of behavior, right? They feel like it's okay. They've been lied to. They don't think God is real, so they don't really look to his word for inspiration or motivation to be better as a human being. And it's like I said, it's because they've been lied to, so you really can't. I think that's why it's important for us to pray for people. Hey, it's Chase Lee, yeah. Chase Lee is up and in the building. Wow, that came out really weird. Oh. I think this is it's a very large size. I mean, if you look at him in comparison to it, it's relatively large, but I think this gives us like a good building block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an 8x8. What's good, Christians? The Holy Father is good, man. That's what's good. That is what is good. I mean, yesterday, like, I got into one of those moods where, like, I was getting mad at everything, and I had to tell myself to stop. I was like, all right, I'm not going to let the devil make me feel like I need to take things into my own hands and say stuff that's unnecessarily, that doesn't need to be said, right? And I was like, I completely have faith in God to handle the situation, because the situation will be handled 10 times better by God than by me, right? And I kind of want to be, I want to have like variations in size in these to like smash them together, to conjoin them. Oh, things people say, things people do. Just like the way family members treat you sometimes. It's like with someone else, it's like, okay, whatever, I don't care, bye. Like, I don't have to talk to you again. But family are people that you have to constantly be around and interact with. And You know, my family has always been very insulty. They have no, it feels like there's no grace in the way they go about saying things. They're just very blunt, and they'll tell you how you feel, they'll tell you how they feel, which is, I guess, cool. I guess that's like somewhat of a good quality, but there's no grace in the way they say it. So it's just kind of like, plus it feels like they're very judgmental. And I'm always thinking of like things I could say back to the things they say. And it's just a constant ring around. Oh, that's cool. So like literally we came to Christ almost in the same time frame. You a little bit longer than I, but that's awesome to hear. We're on the same time gap, man. That's what I'm getting at. That's so cool. Yeah, what brought you to God? Did you just have like this realization where, kind of like me, where things weren't going your way and you're like, man, that's because I'm trying to be in control of everything instead of letting God be in control. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. I'm going to be real with you, Kotagi. I love that statement. Hot chocolate time. Are you putting marshmallows on the hot chocolate? You better be. Marshmallows with hot chocolate is the best. It is the best. Simply the best. I want rooms of various sizes and shapes. So I'm just kind of like creating these right now so I can manipulate and play with them later. And then I can kind of organize them maybe. Wow. What have I done there? And you get some stuff like this where you're like, yeah, I could have some odd shapes in here where we kind of grab this and pull this all the way over here. And then we can join these back up and kind of fill in the gaps, Or we kind of just do this. And look at that. They fit perfectly now. Thank you, Holy Father, for guiding me there. Hey, it's Lazy Finno over on Twitch. How's it going, Lazy Finno? I'm just gonna call you Finno because I know you're not lazy. I know you're putting in work 24/7. I know you're working on a master class right now. Johnny Ray, to leaving personal theological opinions to the side that will confuse the simple things very quickly. I agree. For new believers, the Ten Commandments and its meaning can be taxing for new people to understand, so it's an issue of two things. One, starting with a few sections at a time. True. Two, simple things very quickly. Yeah, that's true. Personal theology does get in the way of our understanding of God and his commandments for us. And that's kind of why I like to lean. I had a buddy who told me a while back, and I think this resonates with what you're saying now. There's a reason why it's kind of similar to John the Baptist, where he was like, in order for him to increase, I must decrease. So in order for God to increase in our lives, we must let our control of our lives decrease. The things we used to believe, or the things we used to understand, good, bad, all this stuff, we need to kind of open our minds to receiving new information and be open to that information. Because if you're not open to it, you're not going to give it a chance. You're going to try to interpret things on your own playing field, when you're not on your own playing field now. You're on God's playing field. We're going to call you Finno. Sweet. A lot of people struggle with that and are more willing to make up an excuse to be spiteful. Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at. That's why I'm trying to get around it, man. I'm tired of being frustrated and tired of being angry about something I know that I can't handle. Right? It's kind of like what is said in the Bible by Christ about, if your arm causes you to sin, to chop it off because it's better to lose a member, yada yada. And it's like one of those things where I think that's relatable to not like literally chopping your arm off, but if there's something in your life that you see is causing you to sin, to depart from it, essentially. Right? It's one of the reasons why I block some of my family members, because it's just like, I love them, but I'm going to love them from afar. Interacting with them has not been easy, and it's difficult, and trying to tell them that doesn't change anything. So what's the point of even trying to do anything about it besides, love them from a distance? Yon. Funny enough, it was probably jealousy that led me to Christ. Seeing my friends be saved and transformed. That's cool. It's awesome to see that God used that as your benefit, right? It's kind of like someone once told me, like even in our... God's always using the bad things in our life for the benefit of our life. But it's supposedly okay because they're being spiteful in the name of God, right? Yeah. That's why I try not to act out of spite, even if it's like, I feel like it's in the name of God. Because there is times where, that's how the enemy will lie to us. He'll be like, you're doing this for the name of God, though. And it's just like, am I? Booga. Lazy Finno says, how you doing, Raleigh? I'm doing a lot better now. I really appreciate you guys coming in and talking to me and giving me something else to think about, right? So, thank you to all of you out there. But yeah, I'm doing excellent. Elbow cough. Why are you coughing into your elbow, dude? You're supposed to cough on the ground. You're supposed to just cough into the open air. Should I work on Foy or LL? Well, what are you leaning more towards today, Chase? Lazy Finno with the salt shaker? Salty? Is you saying I salty? Work on GTA 6, please. All right. I'll work on it right now. Chase Lee, later. You heading out? All of these atheists and anti-theists are still made in his image. Correct. But you could be made in someone's image and not follow in their way. America or Canada? I like America. Canada's cool though. I've been watching a super cool channel, like Christian channel, that has a lot of like it's a lot of science and stuff. It's called Answers in Genesis. It's a really good Christian channel. They talk about evolution and stuff like that, which I'm a huge fan of. Cough and see. So what, you like to cough and see where you coughed? Chase Lee says, I don't know. Which one has a longer production time in your opinion? Purple Hearts. Purple Hearts back to you, Finno. GTA 6, please. No, man. Judah is the one. I'm gonna work on the boy. You got to check out The Rookie on Netflix. Great series. I'll have to get Netflix again. We got rid of it because they kept coming out with all these weird shows. I'm tired of supporting these people who don't support me. All right? Support us. More of. I like how I was like, yeah, I'm going to build variations, and then I just made a ton of these. True, I could make something like that for these, where it's like long upwise, but it's like, how am I gonna get these to work with one another? Oh, brother. Oh, brother. I'm from United States, California. I'm in Cali. So we got a horizontal cut. We've got a vertical cut and a horizontal cut. Your school is criminal? What happened, dude? What did they do to you? Do I need to go over there and have like an anime series like fight sequence with the principal? Yeah, but there is a thing that says thou shalt not steal. That is considered piracy and a form of thievery, my friend. It is considered those things, okay? Okay, brother man? Brother man? What is he doing? He's just making grids. He's just making grids. Ooh, that's probably what happened originally. I need to set the origin to center of mass. Origin, center of mass, mass. Center of mass. Center of mass. Now that I'm looking at it, I could very well create something. Oh, did I not separate these? Crazy. Boom. Center of mass. Center of mass. I like how the center of mass is not in the middle. How is that not the center of mass? Why is it lying to me? Tell me, Kotagi, why is it lying to me? What we're gonna do... Oh, that's why. What have we done? What have we done? What are we doing? Why am I here? Chase Lee, you got the Catholic perspective, but Netflix steals my money. That's true. For some reason, my character won't go into my crouch anims. Well, do you have a crouch state? You know, I think there is a crouch state, possibly. If not, you might want to make one and then use that as a transition condition. Calvinist or Armenian? Me? I would probably say maybe a Calvinist. I don't know. I don't like to... I know it sounds strange, but I don't like to constrain myself to like those type of things. I'm born new in Christ, right? But I will say, why is it doing this, yo? And it's still not, they're still not sticking to one another. What is going on, brother? Do we have that same issue? We do. And they're like super close to each other. It's like, how is that not that? Huh? How is that not that? How is that not even that? Ridiculous. That means like most of the stuff I have up there is not connected. I'll eventually have to break these apart, right? Which will be very sad and annoying to do. But why these aren't working with one another is completely strange. Raleigh, what games do you play? It depends on what I'm in the mood for. Right now I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. Just because it's really calm, and for like the competitive stuff, I've been playing a lot of people are gonna cringe right now, but League of Legends. which I probably shouldn't do because that game makes me very angry. Makes me very angry. You know what? I'm gonna Noni? Can you just select all the things that I want to select? Come on, bro. Cursor to selected. Wow. Cursor to selected. Now we can say set origin to 3D cursor, and that's in the perfect center. Right, now we're in the center. And we can delete that and come back to increments and just move up incrementally. He is not Calvinist. He is from Texas. Next to the XYZ at the top right of the way is the option that merges vertices when they occupy the same space. Thank you for that. I kind of knew that, by the way, but you know, this button right here, yeah. I'm a sucker for blunder punishment. Right? I don't know why, but I am. Center of mass. Center of mass. Why does all these other ones work, but not that one? No, center of mass. Center of mass. I could literally just copy and paste these over, but look, as I said, I'm a glutton for blunder punishment. In my head, it's easier to left click and right click than to press all the other buttons, right? Oh, we gotta combine these bad boys. In my case, being born from a founding family is that I'm not really part of the denomination from other groups. True. The founding family of what? America? Or like the all the churches, like the Presbyterian, it's called, or Protestant. Is it easy to get a job without a degree in the U.S. in tech? I think it depends on your portfolio. I couldn't really answer that though, to be honest, because I am jobless. And I've not gotten a degree in tech. I have worked for Infinity Ward as a quality assurance specialist, but that's a completely different story. It's not really tech. It's not really tech. It's not really technically. You know, and we could also do stuff where we get like these little fun shapes. We can explore that stuff later. For now, we'll do boxes like this. But we could essentially do something like this, guys, where we, you know, let's say we have something like that. And we have something like this. And then we could essentially, you know, get rid of something like this, go like this, right? We would keep that and delete these. Face. Get rid of the face. Drag. Actually, we don't. We want to get rid of this. And we want to separate these. Itchy nose. Itchy nose. Honestly, let's get rid of that. Come on. Come on, you. Give me what I want. We can essentially go like this. Essentially. Sorry for torturing you guys with that word. Okay, Yoandi, it is all you need to do is download UE5, get experience, and you could work at Chasely Studios. The best studio. Religiously bet Kokab family attic. Really? That's crazy. I've never heard of bet. Was that I'll have to look that up really quick. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, there's nothing on Ah, so it's like more Muslim orientated, Palestinian. I mean, even though you were QA at Infinity Ward, that technically gives you clout to say I worked on corporate projects. Yeah, that's true, but I don't want to sound like dismissive, but I don't want that clout because it was not the people there they were not nice people by any means. And I will sing that till kingdom come. My fiance's grandma died and I need a couple of days off, and those dudes made fun of me for it. And they're like, what, did another family member die? It's just like stuff that's not funny they would make jokes about. Still makes me very angry. Which I know sounds dumb, but you know, like, you don't make fun of stuff like that, dude. And the worst part is I would like try to tell my boss, but he wouldn't talk to me because I didn't have a project under my belt yet. So I just had to sit there and let these guys say those mean things, and I couldn't stand up for myself, which was absolutely BS, in my opinion. So just all around not good people working there. Like, if they heard that story now, they would say something to like make it seem like they're nice, but it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I appreciate your apology, but I don't know. I feel like you're just doing that so you can look good in front of people instead of actually meaning it. See, I knew something was funny. Now we get that crisp. But yeah, we could definitely do something like this in the future, right? And honestly, because like these are going to be modular, we don't even need to have this triangle like that, but you know, these are the things that we can do if we wanted to. I don't know why there's so much Z fighting. Yeah, it is messed up. You can go days without food or water. One day without clout means you're dead among your peers. You need the clout. Dude, I'm trying to hang out with the man in the clouds. I don't need no clout. I'd rather hang out with the Father in the clouds than the people in the clout. Yeah, people can stink. I'm sure there's great studios, but, you know, I consider that a very privileged studio because they got that Call of Duty money, so they can say what they want. Plus a lot of, yeah, I'm not going to gossip anymore. I don't think the Holy Father is standing with this conversation, so I'll leave it at my experience and let other people, you know, dictate what they think off of that. But it was not a fun experience. Through that, I found how much I loved game design. When I was there, I felt at home. I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. But, you know, God told me these people can either work with me to get to that point, or I can just get to that point on my own. It'll be harder, but that's what I'm doing now. That's why I'm making a place for Christians, because you just have a bunch of people in there who hate God and, you know, are not trying to live morally correct. But then you have people that do, so that's why I'm trying to not gossip. I'm not going to generalize like that. I know they treat QA folks poorly, but man, that's straight garbage. Well, it was the other QA people doing that. They would get mad at stuff. Like, the game designers would talk to me, or the developers would talk to me, and my managers would just get really mad because I've always been a very social person, right? That's what happens when you're walking around, going to different states, hanging out with people, meeting people, being homeless, you know, talking with homeless people. I've talked to a whole lot of people, so it's just, there's times where I'm socially awkward, yeah, but that's typically around socially awkward people. But most of the time I don't have an issue with that, thank God. That's a blessing. But, you know, to them it was disrespectful for me to, you know, engage back in a conversation with designers or developers. I guess I'll just say developers to encompass all the people working on like the game. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, thank you. Those triangles are annoying but understandable. Yeah, they are understandable. In the future, I won't need them because these will all be like their own little tile. But then it's like we have to create several variations of that tile to make sure that they fit with what we need. The 2 voters in the Discord who said BP is not code. Not me. BPs are not code. Well, there we go. There's Kotagi. He's swinging. John Ray, basically Kowloon City in space. Oh, that's sick. Isn't California? Yes. Yes. It is very expensive. That's why we broke Oven a Bee. It's because so many people want to live here. And other reasons as well. God does not make it easy for a populace that is largely against him. I just thank him that we got rain this year. Right? That's why I keep telling people, like, guys, let's not try to invoke God's hand here. Right? Show respect to God, but then you got these people out here just... It's one thing to sin, but it's another thing to, like, just disacknowledge God's existence entirely. I don't know. I feel like there's something about that that's very twisted and gross. Good decision. You take your knowledge and experience and run. Don't let these people take your energy. That's how I see it, man. That's how I see it. Like, was it a great experience? Yes. Was it a fun experience at times? Yes. But what was the overall experience? It would have been great if the people there were a little kinder and not as condescending as I remember them to be. And it's not like me being egotistical and thinking I can do this all on my own, right? Like I have complete and utter faith in God. Like anything I'm doing here, if this turns out to be something, it's not by my power alone. It's by the power of the Holy Father and the power that He's giving me. Everything is given by God, right? All the good things given by God's, our blessings, our creativities, our ideas, stuff like that. But it's about finding out which ones are from God and which ones can be from, the bad guy. Same, I prefer the company of people, yeah. Yes, it is, Kotagi. That was going to be a conversation. Being away from people is a very dangerous thing for me. Bro thinks he's him. Thinks who's him. What's up, mate? Nothing, Snaps. Welcome to the stream, man. How you been? How's the project going? Make that 3 votes now. Dang, Chase just sealed the deal. Hey, Chase, I'll say this. BPs are cool, but they're not coding. They are made with code, but they are not coding. They're blueprinting. 2 different things. This is my these are my blueprints. That's why they're called nodes. So why do people call them code? Right? It's like they're not code, they're nodes. This is my blueprint to make this thing do this. This is not my code. It's not code. Whoever keeps calling them code is going to drive me absolutely insane because it's not code. It is absolutely not code. They're nodes. It says it right here. How can you use this every day? Go like this. Where is it? There's definitely something in here that's like, yo, this is a node. This is a blueprint node. Target is an actor. Anyways, these are nodes. These are blueprint nodes. This entirety of this is a blueprint. It's not code. It's a blueprint. That's why it's called blueprints. Blueprints. All right? Blueprint. Blueprint. Code. It's very hard to actually believe in God these days. I get that completely, but what do you expect when we live in a world where most of the things we're surrounded by are made by human hands? I just thank God that He gave me the mind to believe and see in Him, and I pray that He does that for people who have a hard time to see it. Yes, Lord. Sup, what am I seeing right now? So you're seeing the beginning the beginning of level design, modular level design for procedural, essentially for procedural concepts. I'm building stuff modularly, trying to get an idea of what a good size for certain environments within a biome will look like, right? You know, when you have a small, and here's kind of like a little sample map that I made earlier, but like when you have something small of this nature, it comes off very caverny, like tight. It's a very tight space. Granted, you do get games like, shoot, let me bring up Miro. You know, you do get games where, you know, you can get this like large volume, but typically there's no ceiling. And if there's a ceiling, you know, kind of takes away from that. But you feel like you're in an open world when you don't have this ceiling. Or like in this case, you feel like you're out in a world. But when you're underground and it's tight like this, it just, I don't know, something about it speaks like a cave, right? I'm sure you guys can feel it too looking at this. But this is like very, oh, this is a cave system. So right now I'm just literally seeing what works, doesn't work, and then, you know, gonna go from there. Post it in here, and then photo bash it a little bit to kind of get an idea of how I want to go about creating these things. How often do you think about giving up? I would say not a lot. I don't think I can give up. Every time I do, I just think about like this is what God wants me to do, and if I give up, I'm giving up on him. So there's times where I think about it, but then that quickly gets retracted, because to me it's more than just making a game. It's about creating a place for Christians who can come together and not compromise their faith and work on the thing they love, their passion, right? That's what it's about for me. That is what it's about for me. They specifically do everything they can to make them not code. Yeah. Well, I mean, the less you code, the less power you have, right? Like, there is power in these BPs, guys, but there's a lot of power. Like, you can't go and essentially do what I did here in this task, which is create a latent node, right? That specifically hands with rotations. Like, you can make that in a BP, but to have this as a node that you can just use, right? That's another thing. That's more control. That's more power. Hot take. I would still say visual scripting and blueprints is still coding, because you still need to learn logic for something to happen. Traditional line by line, on the other hand, is optimized. You know, I'm not going to say you're not wrong, but at the same time, like, there's still logic behind these, but these are nodes, man. I'm not trying to take a... So don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away anything from using BPs or, you know, making a BP and using nodes, right? I'm not doing that by any means, but this is very much nodes. Like, if you look up and you say blueprint nodes in Unreal Engine, working with nodes, placing nodes, like all of these are considered nodes, right? That's not code, that's nodes. Check out my nodes, guys. That's something you would say, right? By Unreal Engine's, you know, standards, these are considered nodes, and you use nodes and logic, right? Very much so like you use code, but it's completely different, because instead of creating the logic behind, so essentially what a node is a function. You don't have to create the logic behind that function. You just use that function. So in a sense, it is a little different. Like, yeah, do you need to know, like, if you need an F vector here? Not really, because they give that to you, right? Like, if I want to move the character, move character. I don't know. This would have to be somewhere else. Like, if let's say move. If I like move component 2, you know exactly what you need here because it tells you. Right? You're like, oh, I need this color, which is a vector. Like when you learn to code, you don't know what you're doing. Like when I learned C# with Unity, I was like, what's a vector? What do I need a vector for? What are vectors useful for? Right? I guess you'll undergo that same experience maybe, because I didn't have the pleasure of doing BPs and then going into code. I went from code to BPs, so I won't be able to speak on like the beginning entrance into it all. But I will say these are functions, right? And you don't have to write the logic of these functions. You get to use pre-designed logic for those functions. But yeah, don't think I'm taking away anything from people who use BPs though. That's not the point of the conversation. I'm just drawing a distinction between coding and blueprinting. They know unambitious people will see code and become discouraged. That's a big part of it too, right? When you look at this, I mean, I look at this right here, I get scared, but that's not that. But when you look at this, you're like, you know, you're like, what's this? What's that? Sure, you'll see some familiar things, right? Like if, but that's a branch, right? But this is not artist friendly, right? It's not designer friendly. This is programmer friendly. And is more customizable. Yeah. Imagine custom content. Like what's a custom content? The knowledge transfer is very limited. Custom levels. Oh, like where someone could custom make a level. Yeah, that could be a thing in the future. Who knows? But at the moment, it's more about creating a level. It's all going to be procedurally generated, right? So I could make it so people could edit variations and they could potentially see them in like a world they explore, but I couldn't guarantee it, right? Kotagi, somebody who knows one programming language is halfway there to knowing them all. Yeah, I mean, well, they all share something in common, like data types, you know, functions, stuff like that. I remember seeing Green World at the beginning. Oh, Green World at the beginning. That was when Steven was working with me. Right now, he's kind of stepping back for a little bit to handle family issues. Line by line will in general by the ultimate way to program, but using Node solution does help visualize doing something similar, but with its downbacks. Exactly. Right. But like, yeah, I'm not taking away from people who use BPs. Like, you're still doing something cool with them, right? You're still making cool stuff. Like, you shouldn't feel inferior by any means to someone who programs, right? But that's the whole issue with people not working in teams, because there's a reason why there takes a lot of people in a team to make a cool game, right? And that's because it's very, very difficult to do all this stuff and know it at an intimate level. Right? The level design, the programming, the design aspects, right? The art, the everything, the cinematography, the screenplay. It's hard to do all those and know one of them intimately. And that's why it's so important to work in a team. But nowadays you have a lot of individuals who have to be, they strive to be the best at everything. And it just, I'm going to tell you, as someone who thought like that, who felt like that, it's just, it's not adequate. Like, if you have to do those things because you have to, that's one thing. But if you do it because, you know, it's a choice, that's another thing as well. Which programming language do you guys use? I wouldn't say I'm fluent. I'm always going to consider myself an amateur because there's always something I learn every day when I'm programming. But I use C++, C#, and I've dabbled with Python. I mainly use C#, some other stuff like BPs and Unity VS, yeah. The basic argument is that BPs qualify as code because they're used to flow logic, but there are plenty of things that aren't programming that accomplish the same thing. Yeah, I know that's the argument, but that's why I'm saying it's like you don't create the logic. You use predefined logic to get results, but you're not actually creating the logic behind these functions. Right? Like if I didn't come in here, like if they didn't come in here and make this, how would you get the actor's location? You wouldn't. If they didn't have a get actor location, you wouldn't be able to create that. That's why it's important to learn programming a little bit, I think. But, you know, like you can't call this code. This is by definition, even with UE5's terminology, are nodes. Working with nodes. These are nodes. Like, just accept the fact that, you know, you use nodes and it's not code, right? Like, that's the whole point. Like, you should be giving credit where credit due to people who program for a living and put a lot of their time and effort into learning this stuff, right? And it's, I don't want to sound rude or stuff like that, but I'm saying this because I think it's important for all of us to stay humble and to remember, like, you know, there is a difference between the two. There is still a difference between the two. And by sitting there and trying to take credit for coding and doing very complicated things like this, granted, you could still do complicated things in here, but the people are in the back end. There's a reason why they call this stuff front end work and this stuff back end work. And even this right here isn't really considered back end, because back end is like, it depends how far you go back. But, you know, just be genuine to yourself and to others and be like, yeah, that guy's a programmer and I use blueprints, but I don't know how to code, right? It's being humble, and that makes people who do work hard every day programming, it makes them feel appreciated, right? And if we can do something to make someone who's devoted their life to something appreciated in our team, then we should do it. I primarily use Python and all sorts of JavaScript, also used to contribute to Stack Overflow before ChatGPT came about. Yeah. Stack Overflow's dead. But it's like not really, because that's where ChatGPT is getting its information, right? It's just linked to Stack Overflow. But I still go there time to time. I only use ChatGPT now when I feel like I absolutely have to. When I was first stepping into the workflow or the framework of like C++ for Unreal Engine, I did need to use ChatGPT to figure out a couple of things. But once I got accustomed to how to get a hold of, you know, components and things of that nature, I kind of started taking off on my own. And then once I figured out how to kind of work in between blueprints and access other blueprints and how that kind of comes together, yeah, I didn't need it too much. I wouldn't take away from BP people, right? Because in a programming setting, you would just, they would, like, someone who does BPs would be like, yo, hey, I need to get this information. Could you create a node that does that? And you'd be like, yeah. So you would just make that. And you'd make any adjustments depending on what the person needs. Your work's easier, man. You can't take away from the BP people, too. I guess you take away from them when you're like, you're not coding. Right, but it's not like a mean takeaway. You're not taking away everything from them. You woke up extra early just to hate on BP people. What do you mean, man? You love Chase. Chase is like your best friend, and he's a BP guy. It's not practical. Even people that learn across a field of study, I meant nothing. You're still not fluent in things outside of it. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's very hard to get intimate with something if you're not doing it every day and that thing exactly every day. It's hard to get intimate with it, right? It's like it's hard for you to build a relationship with someone if you don't hang out with them, right? Or you don't talk to them, or you don't engage with them. Rashad Z, I wish I worked on a small team. Extra people to help on stuff I'm not able to work on, and communication is manageable since it's only a few people. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping one day too, but it's very difficult right now when I don't have money to like provide to people who do work, right? So that's why I'm like, yo, if you got some extra cash, right, and you feel like supporting someone who wants to create a studio for Christians to come together and work on what they're passionate on, which is like game development without compromising their faith, you know, come over here, subscribe, man. Get yourself a tier, right? And also on top of that, eventually we will be adding some products here as well. So, you know, it's only going to grow. John Ray, a person who does painting, interior design, plumbing, woodworking, ethic would not also have understanding in film. I think they would have understanding in some aspect of film, right? Because film is kind of like a broad statement. You know, in film, there's a lot of things like there's mise en scène, which I think a lot of that would work for because a part of mise en scène, I think it's called. I'm not saying that right, probably, but anyone who's in film knows what I'm talking about. But there that comes with making a scene. Woodworking would work great for that, right? Painting would work great for making sure you have the right color palette to convey the feeling that you want in the scene, stuff like that. But when it comes to like cinematography and what type of angle would communicate that feeling with those colors, probably not, right? You'll find like if you take a class, depending on an angle, you can convey a feeling or feelings to people, right? Like if you take a shot from someone looking up, it'll give this feeling of superiority, or if you're looking down on someone, it makes them look small, right? Interior designers, plumbers, working, woodwork, ethic. True. Yeah. So I guess without reading that before I made my description, you were talking specifically about like cinematography. Code is better. You can Control C, Control V, or if you're really smart, what is it? Control D, Control D. Yeah, look at that, baby. Let's go. It just keeps playing the animation over and over again. I like Chase because he is Catholic, but sadly he is BP people, so I must be a hater. You don't need to pick up that sword today, Katagi. You can leave it there on the mantle, man. You don't need to go out on a crusade, dude. Chase is in the right place, man. We're all a big fan of game development. But I will say there's one thing that I've talked about this entire stream that I will reiterate on now. This is not coding. I will say that again. This is not coding. These are nodes. This is blueprints. And that's it. I've seen some videos where it's like, this guy's like, dude, look at my code. And I'm like, that's not code. Those are nodes, dude. It's blueprints, bro. That is the big one. Sponsors and such is the biggest problem for myself. Would make things much faster. Yeah, that's my issue too, is I'm trying to do things without like investors, because investors want control, and my biggest problem is having trust in investors to give me what I feel God has put in my head for what he wants this to be, right? I don't want to be like Ubisoft, who feels like they're getting manipulated and making like bad decisions, or other companies of that nature that have essentially undergone the same things. BPs are not code. We just lost like 50 followers right now because of that. They're like, yo, I love BPs. I can't stand for this heresy. Can't stand for it. By the way, guys, also, if you like the stream, make sure to like the stream, right? All the support helps. We need that support. We are a very small indie team of what? 3 people right now. Me, a musician, and a character concept artist. And we would love all the support that you could give. What am I running over? This is what happens when you don't clean up your room, chat. You just game dev every day. That's what happens. I'll let you know when I'm free. I'm gonna move this over here really quick. Please check. Miro, Donkey Kong. Get rid of some of these. Get rid of some of them. I figure it might be better to work part-time and work on your project in your free time. I don't know what John Ray's thing is. Maybe that's what he already does, but that's what I'll be doing here soon. But working on this on my off time, and I should get enough money to be able to afford a studio. So we'll keep your eyes peeled for that one. But you know. Yeah, investors specialize financial support, but most of the time they're not specialized with other fields. It's hard finding investors that don't try to micromanage outside their understandings. Yeah, well, they want to get back on their investment, right? So it's like you have this desire to give them back what they've given you, but at the same time, it's like, you know, that shouldn't distort creativity. At the end of the day, there's a lot of research and development that needs to go in to pushing that next game that's going to make money, right? And that's the sad truth about technology is, you know, there's always going to be more difficult things to handle in the future, right? So you gotta get that R&D out. You ain't gonna be doing nothing. Man, I really should have deleted like some of this stuff before I did all of this. I mean, of course we will need I guess we could do inners and outers. You're a barber now, Kotagi. You're not doing construction anymore, my friend. How's barbering going? I think that's what it's called. How's being a barber? I don't know how to phrase that without sounding dumb, but found that's an issue with a lot of things. You've been a barber? I thought you did construction. You're talking to me about construction and stuff. What you mean, man? What do you mean, bro? You don't gotta lie to kick it, doggy. So I'm gonna start trying to separate these pieces a tad bit. And I'm gonna duplicate these over. I'm gonna grab both of these. Separated pieces. Because at some point these will need to be separated. The real difficult part is figuring out the variations I'll need for some of these to get them to do certain aspects, like, you know, essentially creating the crust of the world. On and off work in a warehouse when I'm feeling misogynistic. Wow. You ain't gotta say it like that, man. You ain't gotta say it like that, brother. I think we kind of need to have the exterior like this, because if we don't, then we don't have, I don't know. That is a good point on my end. Let's delete that really quick and then get rid of these. So one thing we're going to need are these. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Nice barber is chilled. Went to one today. Yeah, I've been shaving the dome ski. They now call me Chrome Dome. Anyone who has had a woman manager understands the feeling, dude. Don't be saying that. Women can be excellent managers. I mean, you do you, bro, but I personally think women, it depends on the person, man. I've had excellent women managers and I've had bad women managers. I don't want to sound based, or I do want, I don't even know what that term, what does base means? Truth, right? Based. Let's see what you kids, establish, grounded, or focus on a specified principle or belief. Fact. Yeah. I'm just gonna grab one like right here. That way I know for a fact, like, yo, that's a centerpiece. And we've essentially gotten this now. We've got all the building blocks of what this is. Sadly for these, though, we do have to connect these together. That is not always the case. I mean, to be honest though, man, like that's not always the case that men are good managers as well. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I've met a lot of good managers in my day of both genders and a lot of bad managers in my day of both genders. So it's like, I get where you're coming from, but I just don't agree with you completely on this. Because I've seen my fiance, she's a manager and she does a great job. You know, she cares about her employees and stuff like that. And she's working all the time. Always working. That's not always the case, yeah. People can feel free to disagree with me, but that's my take on it. That is my take on it. I might feel like, you know, feel like that, but I don't hate anyone who feels differently. Right?
Adobe Photoshop Light.
I think it's unchristianly to disassociate yourself over something like that.
Make quick adjustments to light and color
Yeah.
on the go. And never lose a creative moment.
So yeah, don't think I'm being hostile when I say that. I'm just telling you with the utmost respect. You know, I've literally, as someone who's 32 years old, I've worked a lot of jobs. I've experienced a lot of things, and I'll tell you that much, man. I've met a lot of people who are good at their job and bad at their job, and it really depends on the person, man. Because some people just, if you don't care about your job, you don't care about your job. If you don't care about people, you don't care about people. And that's the thing, as a manager, you have to care about your job and you have to care about your people. And if you don't have all those things, and most of the time you're just not a good manager. It also, I guess you could also say it takes, what's the word? What is the word? Yeah, I'm focused on this too much right now. 3D cursor. The general rule winds up being the case, yeah. My family's sexist, dude. I mean, it's not about that, man. It's more about just the best way I can describe it. And I guess that is this, that don't look like the center. The center should be over here. What is going on? The center should be in the center. Like, this is the center. If I move this over here, this should be the same one as that one. Right? We should not be off like this. What is going on? Do I need to go? No, 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 no. Like, even that's off, right? Like, if I click this other one, you'll see that one's off too. So I guess I could just go to cursor to selected and then do that. Although I'd prefer if this is in the center. Because the way these are going to set each other up are in the middle. So it's like, boop. Center is determined by vertex density. Really? How do I change that, bro? How do I change that? Make a freaking box around this? I want to do all that. It's too much work for a lazy man like me. You know what it is this takes up too much space. These are all way too close. The heck? I have to get these looking tiled well. But like, even you can see here, these are kind of off by a little bit. Yo, this is I'm going to block this video. How do I block this video? I want to block this video because every time I hear this video, I never know when it turns on, and then I get a copyright strike from listening to it. How do I just remove the video from ever being watched again? That's what I want. Never see this video again. Selection. That would be awesome. Shares the same. Well, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna create a box, bromigo. I'm gonna put the box in the center. In the center. Right? Then I'm gonna expand this box down. Like so. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. Cursor to selected. I'm gonna hide this. Oh. Did that really just do what I think it did? I'm gonna hide this. Bro, what have I done? What have I done? How have I done this to myself? What did I do? Oh my gosh. You know what it is? Oh, man. Oh, man. It was literally what I thought it was, too. It's because I have that merge option on. Making cursor to... No. How is that selected? That's not... Cursor to... I'm just going to go center mask. Cursor to selected. I'm going to hide that. This is all freaking out now. 3D cursor. Center of mass. Nope. 3D cursor. You still have the merge option on. Yeah, I know. I do. Turn that off. Thank you. Schmank you, my friend. No, we don't want to duplicate. All right. What is this? That's like that. So let's 3D cursor. Yeah, you kind of have to. I hate when I do that, but honestly, I don't know why I didn't do that workflow. That's what I'll be doing in the future here. You bring this forward, and then you just got to select all this stuff and bring it back too. Oh my God. And look at that. It's way easier. It's way easier. I'll have to at some point label those something. And in the original, we're just going to we're going to delete these because they are no longer, they are obsolete. They are no longer necessary to have. We did not do them correctly. These ones will have to have their own variation as well. Actually, I don't know. That's the issue with it. Like, we want to create something, but if we have it this way, there won't be any volume to the collision, so it won't get the overlaps correctly. I'll have to start making these based off of I'm gonna have to refactor the sorry, I'm gonna have to refactor stuff. That's just how it's gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to refactor the jumping system to work accordingly with what I need. Right? That's just gonna be how it be up in a B, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man? Can you click the right one? Thank you. I was hoping to get all these, but apparently not all of them are merged. Separated pieces. Separated pieces. This guy. Let's move him over here. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. That. Selection. Get rid of them. Boom. Can I just, yeah, I can, huh? I can. I'm gonna put these together, then I'm gonna call it for the stream today, guys. But I'll still be working on the project, and I might be in the Discord today. So if you want to hang out in the Discord, make sure to join that link in the description. Go in, select your roles, click all the things, verify yourself. Right. Read cursor. 3D cursor. 3D cursor. 3D cursor. 3D cursor. 3D cursor. 3D cursor. It's just a bunch of this. I'm gonna work on this more today too. Try to get some other aspects done. But I'm gonna start getting ready to get my kids. We're gonna also have to create some stuff like this, right? Like we're gonna need one like this that's separated. I don't know if this is particularly, this looks like even when it's on the outside, it's on the outside. So, or when it's on the outside, it's on the inside. What I mean by that is like in a case like this, we have that, we have this backdrop, right? But that's not going to be necessary here with those in particular. But yeah, I'm going to be making those, and we're going to be importing. Hopefully see if there's a way to incorporate like WFC in there to create that. So other than that, guys, I'm going to bounce until tomorrow. So make sure to tune in. Same time, same place, same friendly voice. It's not my face today. But yeah, God bless. Christ in Nazareth loves you. And I'll catch you next time here at the channel. Have a good day.